All right. Hi, Justin.
Hello.
Hi, how are you today, Justin?
I'm great. How are you, Christina?
I'm doing great. It's good to talk to you again. All right.
You as well.
Wonderful. So, um, just to start with, tell me a little bit about your teaching experience. What was your first teaching experience? Where did you have it?
Absolutely. I think my first teaching experience was in college. I used to help teach a class on lighting design for the entertainment world, but to folks that were not majors of that program. So it was a hands-on class. We just taught basics of that skill. And since then, I've done a bunch of different teaching experience. I worked on cruise ships for a long time and worked with a lot of staff and that were not or non-English speakers, and I had to train them on how to do certain tasks within my capacity as a lighting director, and so had to teach them a lot of phrases and specific words that have to do with the lighting. So yeah.
Mhm. All right. So, how did you deal with complete non-English speakers? Let's say somebody who is their first impact with English.
Well, first of all, I feel like what's really important is using total physical response, making sure that you're using your hands and your body and your mouth and really pronouncing very slowly and clearly and repeating yourself, making sure that they're understanding and following along with you and not going too quickly.
Yeah, that's key. The total physical response is major when dealing with low-level clients, especially with children. Um, so tell me about your experience teaching children, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, I love interacting and being around children. So I would love doing that. I haven't specifically done in any like traditional setting of teaching children, but I grew up with two younger brothers. I taught them many things when I was growing up, and I think I have a natural ability to be able to work with children.
Absolutely. Well, I think from my experience, teaching children is really all about empathy. You just have
Mm,
to be there for them and just really understand where they're coming from.
yeah.
So that's pretty much it. You know, if you're there and if you just really empathize, then you're going to be an amazing teacher. That's it with kids. Yeah. How about teaching adults? Are you interested in that? Because as you know, the iTutor sessions cater to both adults and um, children.
Yes, absolutely. I think I would love to. I'm interested in teaching anybody. I think that anyone who wants to take a step to learn a new language, I mean, that's a huge step to take, and I would love to be able to support them in that journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Um, so just let's um, picture a scenario, a client, a student who completely doesn't understand a word of English, and you were just trying to make them respond to the question, "What's your name?" How would you do that?
What's your name?
Yes.
Okay. I think that it probably saying uh, my name is Justin. What's your name? Justin, your name. So using big physical responses and also repeating.
Mhm. Wonderful. Yeah, yeah. And another great way also that is just very easy is using props like any dolls or, yeah, pointing at
Mm-hmm.
things and, yeah, but pointing at yourself, that's going to be fantastic. Um, what would you do if a student would have a hard time concentrating on the material, like they would just be distracted and not listening to you, how would you react to that?
How would I react? Well, I think that it's important to be patient, most definitely. I think also it's important to break the ice. Maybe they are not interested in what you're saying or doing. So, smiling, making a funny face, redirecting them to bring them back to what we're talking about, and making sure that we're completely slowing down. At that point, I don't think that it's appropriate to be moving forward or skipping over things. We need to make sure that they're understanding what word we're trying to get them to understand before moving on. Maybe if I wasn't using a prop within that moment, using a prop to try to redirect their focus, changing the way that I was teaching so it was something different.
All right, great, wonderful. Let's say you would try to teach a specific word like fly, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and this particular student wouldn't understand what fly means. How would you explain that to them?
I think that if they weren't understanding it by just repeating the word or saying it, I think that obviously you doing something like this, like a bird, would be very good. I think also showing them like a prop of a plane and a couple of different visualizations around what that word means to sort of get them to understand it in a couple of different capacities is important.
Mhm. Fantastic, yeah, perfect. Tell me about your schedule. I know I've told you about these peak times and
Yeah.
that, yeah. So how many hours would you be available to work?
I would be available somewhere between 30 and 35 hours a week. Of all of those peak hours that I looked at that you sent me, I can accommodate, and it will really just be depending upon my flexibility and how. But I'm pretty flexible, so yeah,
That was my next question. Are you flexible? Because
yeah, yeah.
wonderful. Teaching is something that it's always changing, and people's schedules always change, and adults have a different schedule, juniors have a different schedule. So in order to accommodate all that, you will need to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fantastic. um, One last question. I think this is connecting everything like empathy with kids, and how would you react if, and I'm really telling you from things that actually happen. How would you react if somebody just doesn't talk to you? They can hear you, they can see the material, and they just wouldn't talk to you,
Wouldn't talk to me.
wouldn't talk to you.
I think in that situation, humor is really, really important. So, trying to get them to laugh in some way, making a funny face or smiling. I think smiling is contagious in general. So, I mean, how can I have a massive smile on my face and them not smile? I think after a little while they would smile. So I think that's how I would react. Try to bring some humor and lightness into the room.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, um, and especially let's think about a junior, a young
Uh
student,
huh.
and they would be not necessarily not talking to you just because they don't want to, but just because they're shy, or they, how would you break the ice?
How would I break the ice? I think that in that situation, I think that like props would be a really good thing, like using a puppet even or something like that, because kids love that kind of stuff. And just making sure that they are feeling comfortable, like making sure that they're smiling. I would even try to go back to, just the basic of like introducing ourselves again, like starting with that, getting it to a point where at least they're saying like telling me what their name is, and
Yeah.
then we can move on from there, because I feel like once that has happened then the ice is broken a little bit, and we can sort of open things up.
For sure, yes. One they will tell you their name and communicate to the puppet or to anybody that
Yeah,
the ice is broken. And
exactly.
so good. That's it. That's it. All right, Justin. I think you make a great candidate, and
Thank you.
I think the children will be really, the students will be really, really lucky to have you as a teacher. Um, any questions for me at this point?
No, not at this point.
All right. Well, whenever in the future you know where to reach me, I'm always going to be available for you. And I'll see you soon. I'll see you around on the iTutor platform.
All right. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you, Justin. You have a wonderful day.
You
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye.